Hi, I'm Charbria Shine, and welcome back to Max Out Girl. Hi, ladies. So we have a very special guest today, Brandon Hearne. Hey.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing good. So we have him on this show today because he actually plays a very hilarious person role in my show, Charbria Shine, Single Woman Chronicles. So you play Romeo.
Yes, I do.
So I love this character because he is hilarious. And this is your first time playing Romeo.
It is my first time.
Yes, but it's not your first time acting with me, and we'll talk about that.
Yes.
We'll swing by that a little bit.
Okay.
But okay, how is this character so far to you? Because you've been in it a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you think about this character?
I like him. Honestly, every time I get ready, I'm like, okay, breathe. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
And he's so much fun. Like, he doesn't live in a box.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true. You're hilarious in the role, by
Thank
the way.
you.
It is so funny. I love it. And I know there are some challenges like with the voice because it's like his voice changes in the show from like high to low. How is that transition?
I think it's getting easier. At first, it was like, okay, what? And now
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I got it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so we're playing on this, like, Romeo and Juliet. So you're like a lover boy.
Right.
You're like a hopeless romantic. Like, he's so in love with Kara Kensington, the main character who I play. And do you think he's going to get the girl? Do you think he's not going to get the... Are you undecided? What do you think about this
He's
love?
trying. I think he's trying. I don't think he's going to give up too easy.
He's not. He's
No.
very persistent, y'all. And you will see this in the show. Very persistent.
Kind of creepy.
So... yeah, kind of stalker-ish.
Yeah, but it's okay.
Kind of sweet.
Because he
too.
loves it.
Yeah,
He
it's
loves
kind
her.
of sweet too. I mean,
Yeah.
So, have you ever played a character like this before?
No.
No.
No, I have not.
What characters do you usually kind of play?
So,
Is it totally opposite?
it's totally opposite. I normally play the villain. I'm not even gonna.
Really?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
okay, give me an example.
So, my favorite villain that I've played was in Hedda Gobbler, which is a what is it? I cannot think. It's a very famous playwright. He just
Okay.
totally blew my mind.
That's okay.
But anywho, he is a judge, and he manipulates Hedda into trying to sleep with him by blackmailing her,
Wow.
which causes her to kill herself quite literally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very serious, dramatic,
Very serious.
traumatic.
Yes.
Okay, but you like playing that.
Oh, I love it. I feel like the villain always has like more depth than the love interest.
Usually, yeah.
And, I don't want to do stuff that everybody's done. So,
Yeah. So you like to challenge yourself.
oh, yeah.
Have you ever played like the love interest kind of? You have.
I have.
But you love the villain.
I love the villain.
So which one's more like you?
The villain.
You evil.
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 It's the psychological aspect of it that like intrigues me.
Yeah.
Like playing a character who has like a ability to psychologically wield power over someone
Yeah.
for their own benefit, but not only that, like how they became that person. Like somebody did
The
that to them.
backstory. I will admit, I love a good villain, and I do love a backstory. I always think the backstory is so, like, you see all these, is it like Marvel and all those,
Yes.
and then sometimes, like movies like that, and then you go back, sometimes they go backwards, and you see, I love like, so this isn't Marvel, but the Cruella.
Yes.
Oh, I love
Yes.
Oh, I love that. First of
Yes.
all, I love fashion, so that they had me at that.
Okay.
But you saw the newer one?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like I love that. Like just
It's
but then
amazing.
to see the backstory of why she was so evil and her mom and just I loved it.
I love it.
It was very intriguing.
It is.
And I can't even say that's really like me, honestly. I'm more like in real life, probably the sweet girl, probably.
You can see it.
Yeah, I probably am more like that, but I think everybody has another side to them, and I love, like in this play, I play the good girl. However, you see a little bit of something different
Yes.
come out
You do.
during the middle of the play, and I love that because I love being able to show different sides. I don't know, because if you play yourself,
It's not
that's
fun.
not fun.
fun.
That's no fun. That's boring, right?
Yeah.
It's like, no,
No.
not at all.
No.
Yeah, so a villain. I love a good villain. So, but you said you have played the romantic interest. Now, do you
Yes.
like that or not really?
Not really.
It's kinda boring.
It is
For you,
It's
yeah.
boring for me. Like I've done it. Like I've said, okay, yeah, I'll do this,
Yeah.
and you give it your all. But like, it's kind of like
Yeah,
it's harder to find the like ebbs and flow of the like love interest.
because it's very like this.
Yes.
Yeah. Unless it's a twist, which everybody doesn't do that in there.
No, they
it's not
don't.
a lot of that. Where
And
they
the
turn
twist-
evil and then
yeah.
maybe fall in love. Or I don't know. I get what you're saying. And see, Romeo, I guess he is kind of like a lover boy
He is.
interest.
But he's more character.
Yes, I was gonna say he's fun.
Yeah.
So it's not just like Braxton, who is also in the show, who is another love interest of Kara, but he's not evil.
Oh, well, he's not funny.
No, he's not. He's like the distinguished gentleman looking for a wife, looking for a woman,
Oh.
type love. But I love the different. And then there's a Trevor in the show who is more like the suave ladies man who kind of tries to manipulate. So he kind of has that side to him. So those are the three guys. But you're the funniest.
I'm the funniest.
I think the audience is gonna really love it.
Oh, yeah.
I just chose a new song that we're gonna put in the show during your monologue. You're gonna hear it today, and it is funny.
Oh, my goodness.
I love it because I love music.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like music just helps really just create that ambiance that you're going for. And so not all throughout the show is music, but because it's not a musical, but we do have songs in the show here and there.
I'm also a musician.
What do you play?
I play bass guitar and drums.
You're lying.
Yeah, I've played bass guitar since I was like 13.
What? Do you love that?
Oh, yeah.
I never knew that about you.
See?
Because I'm a singer-songwriter. We used to do shows a couple years ago. Never knew that. My
See?
father's a guitar player, lead guitar player. My father-in-law is a bass player.
Oh, wow.
And I write songs. My dad writes songs too. So the songs that are in this show, yeah, they're us. The one song today isn't, but he's gonna probably recreate something similar. So yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's so much fun. I love music.
Oh, yeah.
And that's amazing. I feel like actors are so multifaceted because we usually don't just do one thing.
No, I
We
mean, how
like
can
either
you?
act or sing or you play an instrument or you dance or you do we do it all and I love that. Or you write plays or it's
Yeah.
just so cool. Or you do makeup, hair.
Yeah, I can't do the makeup.
You can't just do no, me neither. I mean I do mine, but it's not like all that. It's not like
I can't.
like a professional, but it's fun. Yeah.
You get eyeliner and that's it. That's the extent.
Now, have you ever had to do your makeup in a show? Because a
Yes.
lot of shows we have to do our makeup.
Yes, and I will tell you, as an African American male,
Yeah.
when you do shows that are, so I'm lucky because your cast is primarily African American,
Yeah.
so you guys get it.
Yeah.
But when you don't, it's harder because they light the stage for everybody, except really you. Because they need to
That's
see
hilarious.
everybody else's face and like,
And they're
well,
much lighter.
yes, and so they
Yeah.
can't go too bright or else
Yeah.
they wash them out. So I end up having to do like heavier eye makeup.
So that they can see you. Wow, I never thought about that. And you're right, my shows are mostly black people. I mean, we have some white people in it. But for the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's mostly lit for us. I mean, I'm super light, y'all can see. But it's still, yeah.
It's different.
Yeah, it is. And I feel like so Christina did, your friend Christina, which is my girl now. She did my first ever show, Single Woman Chronicles, when we did it in 2021.
Oh, wow.
And she did the lighting for us, and she was awesome. And she was like, okay, she asked me like skin complexion because before she even like met all of everybody when I sat down with her, and it was awesome. She did a really good job. So
yeah,
yay, Christina.
we used to do light designs together.
You did too? Mm-hmm. What?
And so
Shut
it
the
was
front
that
door.
bouncing off of like we argue like a angry
Are you
married
guys?
couple.
I was gonna say you're like almost best friends, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so we
That's how I met him, by the way, through my good friend Christina.
Thank you, Christina.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
She's actually doing lighting for this show again.
I know.
Yes.
I told her don't mess it up.
Tell her don't mess it up. She won't mess it up.
She won't.
It's impossible for her to mess it up. She's awesome. So she's been doing the lighting for most of the shows, except the smaller shows. She was in the one with
Yes.
you, which was, I'm trying to think, we did so many shows. Little Black Dress.
Yes.
My show.
She made me beat her.
Oh yeah, I was the battered wife. It was interesting because I've never played a role like that, so that was interesting for me. And if I do it again, I'm very interested to get more in depth because I know we have a very short window of rehearsals and
Yes.
getting more in depth with that character. And I had just come out of Dr. Love, which is a comedy.
Right.
This is interesting. I struggled shifting from
Yes.
from the comedy to, and I kept telling everybody like, Lord, like, because I hadn't jumped so quick into something like, it was such a contrast. So I'm mindful of that now. I mean, I would still do it again,
Yeah.
but you just got to be mindful. I'm like, okay, you don't want. I was like making jokes during this.
Well, I mean, you were doing like you came out of Dr. Love and into that, and I came out of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde
The doctors.
using a British accent
Oh Lord, let me hear your British accent.
You don't want to hear that.
You don't like it? It's bad.
I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, but like, it's
It wasn't bad.
it wasn't bad. I
Yeah.
mean, I'd rather do like my favorite accent to do
Yeah.
is really random. It's Haitian.
Let me hear it.
Right now?
Yes.
No, you can't do it now. You can't just ask somebody to come out and do an accent like that. You can't. It's hard.
It's hard.
But
yeah.
at work, I do
It
play
is
with
hard,
it.
actually. I feel like if you're gonna do an accent, which I feel like I'd have to really, really practice to do an accent because I'm
Dialect coach.
very country, kind of a little bit. Don't you hear it a little bit?
No.
You don't really hear it.
Yeah, I do.
It's there.
It's okay.
It's there.
We're from
it's like
Northwest
It's like
Indiana.
a proper country.
Yes.
But I do got a hood country too. I got sides.
You
We
got
got
some
sides.
twang.
We got some.
We got some
We
depth.
got some depth. There you go. That's a better way of putting it.
Yeah.
I'm like, let me watch my words. Yes, we got some depth for sure. Because
Yeah.
I switch it up for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, as actors, it's something that we grow. So like, I've done like 50 shows, and like back to back, like never stopping.
Yeah.
This year after your show, I think that was it. Like I hadn't
You were
done anything.
done?
I was like, I'm taking a
Really?
break.
But
I'm
and
done.
why were you like? It was a lot mentally, or what was it? You were just tired, needed a break.
So there came a point where I was like, I'm not doing a show if it doesn't mean anything to me.
I like that. Expound a little bit about that.
So you do shows that like mean nothing to you, like they don't
Personally.
hold anything to you. They don't give a message as an actor that you want to portray.
Yeah.
They don't speak to like your legacy.
Yeah. I
And
agree.
as an actor, you want to leave a legacy that people can go back and watch it and say, "Oh yeah, I remember that."
Yeah.
Like, you know, and so I started doing shows and I was like, "I hate it. Like this is dumb." And it wasn't the script, it wasn't the cast, it wasn't the theater.
It just
was,
didn't mean anything.
It didn't mean anything. And so I didn't put anything into it. And I was like, I'm not going to put anything on stage or film
Yeah.
that doesn't mean anything.
I love that. I'm very much like that. And that's exactly why I started writing, because I never wanted to write, I'm going to be honest.
Really?
No, I never thought I would be a writer, ever. Ever.
Oh.
I was just a performer, and I had a dance background, acting, I sang a little bit here and there. I just wanted to be that dancer actor. I never wanted to write. I just loved to perform. I felt like that was easy peasy. And it just started happening. Like stories just started coming to me, and I was a full-time manager, and in between customers, I was like writing. When like during our slow season, I wrote a play, never produced that one. And then when I got married, I produced one, and my husband was like, well, what are you going to do? Like, are you going to do it? Like, let's do it. And it was actually 2019 I wrote it. 2020 we had a contract and COVID hit. So we didn't do it. So we ended up doing it 2021.
I remember that. I bet you don't remember this.
Tell me.
I was the insurance agent for you.
Were you?
I was. When you did
For-
at Living Hope.
You were my insurance agent? Okay, so my husband was handling that for
Yes.
me. So what the world?
Yeah.
Okay, but you don't work there anymore.
I don't work there anymore.
And that's hilarious because when I reached out this year and I'm like, I want to work with the guy that I worked with before, and that was you?
It was me.
This is a small world.
It is.
That's hilarious. We got to talk more about that, but
Yep.
that's so funny. So yeah, that was me. So we did it in 2021, and like I want to act in things like you just said that mean something to me, or that's a message that, like you just said, like leaves a legacy, or it's part of my belief system, or what I want to share with the world. And it's so funny because right before I got married, I made it into a professional dance company, and I got into this musical, and I quit both. I was in the midst of these rehearsals, and one day, wasn't nothing wrong with the show. Fun show, challenging as far as dance and all of that musically. So I wanted to get back into it. I was in there one day and I was like, this is so empty. Like, this doesn't mean anything. And I know some people just want to do stuff for fun, and I did that all my life. But I was at a point, I think, where that was like my crossroads, where I was like, I'm putting all these hours into this, all this work, and the message is like, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'd had to let them know, like, and it was enough time for them to, it wasn't
Find
like,
somebody.
yeah, it wasn't like the week before the show, I wouldn't do that. But if it's your conviction, you gotta do what you gotta do,
gotta do what
you know.
you gotta do.
But I try to be respectful in that way. But yeah, and the same thing with the dance team. Nothing was wrong with that. They were great, but at that point in my life, I just needed something a little bit more.
Yeah.
I love having fun in my shows, don't get me wrong. But I mean, you've been in Little Black Dress. That was not necessarily a show where you're like, we're having fun. No. But it meant something to me. It was a message. And it was a hard one to portray because I've never been in a show like that. But I was like, but this is work that should be done.
Yeah.
People should hear these types of stories. Sometimes we don't want to talk about this. It might be taboo, or maybe in our communities we don't. And I know women who've gone through some of those situations who were afraid to come out and say stuff or didn't get help. And so I'm like, let's talk about it. Let's do this. So, wow, that's interesting that you said. So what kind of shows do you like then? What kind of legacy or what kind of themes do you feel that's important to you?
So, like, I'll say, like, when I was asked about this one particularly, I called my wife and I said, I think I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, what is it? And I was like, it's a show about, you know, X, Y, and Z, and the character I'm playing is, you know, X, Y, and Z. And she was like, well, I mean, it means something.
Yeah.
And so, as far as like my acting career goes, I'm trying to do shows that mean something. Like, I read the synopsis, I read the storyline, I'm like, yeah.
You want it to be like a positive message.
Yeah.
That's
not even necessarily just positive, just mean. At that time, like, I'm very into politics and very into like the issues that affect our communities and the issues that affect other communities, and want to do shows where those awarenesses are brought out.
Yeah, you wanted to say something. And it doesn't, I get what you're saying, it's not always a positive outcome or message. Sometimes it's smack you in your face message, but it needs to be said.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, you got
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, I feel like I'm definitely in that place in my life, and that's why I end up writing. Because for me, I feel like writing's hard work. Being a playwright is hard work. Like, that's hard work. Not that I'm opposed to hard work, but I just never foresaw that in my future. So now I'm just like, okay, I'm playing catch up. Okay, now I'm not just a performer. Like, you're this, you got to learn all of this. And it's just like, sometimes it's like challenging, but it's like, okay, at the end of the day, I'm getting the message out that's really important to me. So let's keep it going. Let's push, let's work. And actually, before the play, I wrote my first book, which was Single and Satisfied, The Single Woman's Guide to Fulfillment. And that was kind of like my life story kind of a thing. So before I got married, and that kind of like propelled some of this story.
How is it writing a book?
I'm trying to think in comparison to writing a play. I would probably say writing a play is more fun. Because you can see it in pictures if you're imaginative and creative. Like, I see it kind of like a movie, and that's so fun to me. I can imagine everything, see it, and write it. Book is a little bit different for sure.
Yeah.
It's more challenging probably because you just got to have discipline, because it's not necessarily fun.
No.
It's just you're getting your thoughts out on the paper.
And they have to make sense.
And it has to make sense, and you have to have your grammar has to be correct, and everything has to be lined up and all that stuff. But you can always get an editor for that and have people to help you. So, but I don't think it's hard, because I feel like you can just talk text most of your stuff during the day. Like, literally, like, stuff would come to my head and I would get tired of typing, and throughout the day I just talk text it. Now it's going to look crazy when you see it, because half the words are right, but you go back and correct it. And so I don't think it's that hard, because like, the thing about it, when I was writing my book, so many things were coming to me like in the middle of the night or when I'm driving, so I would talk text it, and then I would
That's
go.
pretty smart.
Yeah, and I would go and like edit and everything. But like, before that, I was a blogger. That also helps, because you have my book started off as a blog. I thought it was a blog post, and it just kept coming, all these ideas. I'm like, this is not just a blog post, like, this is a darn book. And I was like, let me go ahead and write this. So my first book was my hardest. I've written other books, but the first book was my hardest because I had never done it before. After that, I don't feel like it's hard. You just got to make yourself sit there and do it. That's the thing, the discipline of it all.
The time,
right? The discipline and the time. I feel like I liked it better then than now. Now that I wrote like these plays, I'm like, I don't feel it, because I have a book now, and I'm like, I need to finish editing. I'm just like, oh Lord. I love the outcome though. Like, so many women who are like, this changed my life, or this was encouraging, or I can identify with what you're saying. I love that part.
Well, and that's what, like, when you say like selecting a show that means something to you.
Yeah.
You spend, like, when we're doing these shows on the professional level, you spend like 40 hours a week in rehearsal, away from your family, away from like their growth, their development. When you got kids, you got to really start to like, I had to like take last year and be like, this really has to be something that means something, because I'm literally missing my kids growing up.
That makes sense.
To produce this.
Yeah.
And if it's not worth it,
then
what
it's
am I
not
leaving
worth it.
them?
Yeah,
Like
it's
I
not
just
worth
missed
it.
everything, and now I still don't see them.
I feel the same. So, I don't have kids yet, so we're starting to think about that. And I'm like, yeah, everything I do needs to make sense. You know what I mean? And you should enjoy what you do, obviously. But if it means something to us, we're going to enjoy it anyway. I feel like acting's fun. All the stuff we do is fun. Dancing, all that singing. But if it's just meaningless, then I'm just like. And when I was younger, I didn't care. I did all kind of fun, meaningless. It didn't matter.
Every week,
Right. I don't
do
care.
another show.
This is fun. I don't. What's it about? Oh, whatever.
Oh, you're in it. I want to be in it because
you're
you're
gonna
in
do
it.
it. Yeah. Like that's a costume. Yes. Like, but now it's just like. Maybe it's with like getting older and maturing, like you said, thinking like legacy and family.
Yep.
I think that's so important. Yeah, and people always ask me, would you ever be in someone else's shows? I'm not opposed to that.
Right.
I'm not opposed to that at all. But because I do a lot of shows, it's hard.
It's harder.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
because I try to do a season, even if it's a small season. And when you're doing that, I don't even have time to do anybody's shows. Because when I'm not in rehearsals, I'm writing, I'm editing, I'm preparing, and it's like, when are you going to find time for that?
It was like when I started doing I was doing community theater a whole lot. And then I started doing shows where people weren't as committed. And then I was like, why am I here?
Like they wouldn't show up and stuff.
Well, it was just like, oh, well, I'll learn my lines eventually. I'm like, yeah, me too. But like, can we act while we're in rehearsal?
Oh, no.
And so like, you start saying, okay, I'm mature. I'm too old now to be playing in this sandbox.
Amateur like that, yeah.
Let me go ahead and move over it. And it's not something that like, oh, you're so great or you're so grand or you've arrived.
No,
it's you're recognizing the
they don't
challenge
value it. They don't
isn't
value
there.
it. Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, that would be. Yeah, I think you definitely want to be challenged. You definitely want to be with other people who take it serious. Because at this good young age, we're gonna say it like that. This good young age.
We're still right.
No, no one has time to play games.
No.
So you're right. I didn't know it was like that. So when I did, I'm sure you remember Star Plaza. I did a lot of shows there. They took it serious, very serious, and I loved that. When people don't take it serious, I think people can feel that. People know that, and they're not going to work hard for you. They don't want to even. They're just going to be like lackluster. And I'm the type of person that if I'm going to do it, I want to do it well. Otherwise, why are we doing it? Doesn't mean I'm perfect. Doesn't mean I got it all together. But the best that I can do at the level that I'm at, let me just try that. You know.
Right.
So. That's so interesting that you said that about the legacy and all that, because I'm so there that if it doesn't mean anything,
you can see that in all the shows you put on. Like you truly try and leave something that somebody else can carry.
Yeah.
I mean, like even when we did Little Black Dress, like all the women that showed up, by the end they were crying.
Yeah.
I had people wanting to hug me. I'm like,
oh, did they?
I was like, I just beat her. Like, you want to hug me? They were like, you committed. I was committed to beating her.
That.
But it was more than that. I was being truthful.
Yeah.
In portraying somebody who is in that position, and even playing somebody like you say, playing the villain. I always say it's fun,
the villain, yeah.
But it's also understanding where that came from, like where those ideas, that ideology, that methodology, where did it come from?
Yep.
Because nobody wakes up and says, "I'm gonna beat my wife."
It stemmed from somewhere.
It stemmed from somewhere.
Whether they were beaten or saw that experience, it comes from somewhere. Or even if they saw it on TV and thought, oh, okay. Which that's weird, but it can happen.
It happens.
It happens. Yeah, that's so true. Okay, but did you hear some of the people booing you during the movie?
Absolutely.
I felt so bad for you.
You heard booing, I heard applauses.
Because if they boo you and you're the villain, that means you did a good job.
You did your job.
So I was like, ladies, it's a play. So that means he's not like this. Like, he's playing a role. So
too good.
He's bowing. You can clap. He played his role. I felt so bad. They're like, boo. I'm like, people.
I loved it.
Also, in this particular show, Mercedes gets booed.
Really?
They love and hate her at the same time.
You gotta love Mercedes.
I love Mercedes. They love and hate her at the same time, and it's so funny.
But they don't boo Tatiana?
You know what? So Tot is actually being a little meaner this time.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they are going to at the beginning for sure, because she's definitely a jerk at times.
Yeah, like straight out.
Like straight out.
Not holding it.
Straight out, not holding it. I would think that they would hate on her a little bit more this time. In this one, I get to play the good girl, so they don't hate me in this one. But in another show that I did last year, I played Cherry Bombshell. And that was not like me. That's a character that's nothing like my character. She's more like a bad girl. I love playing because I do like playing villain. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's fun.
It's so much fun. So that one was so fun. My mom was like, "What are you wearing?" And what is my real mother was like, "What is going on?" But it was fun. I'm like, when people do that, you know you've played the role well. When they're kind of side eyeing you, yes. So what do you think? What do you think has been the most fun so far about you with this character, Romeo?
Gotta switch legs here. The funnest part I think I have is when we're in the diner and Kara gives him a shot.
Okay. So we're gonna see that.
That whole sequence
That whole little
is just
sequence.
like,
It's gonna be funny. People are going to love it. They always love that part. They love Romeo Pierce. So you're gonna feel that energy.
Yeah.
Because it's just a fun character. So I feel like out of the guys, he gets the most love.
because he's the realist, you know. He's him.
He's the goofiest.
He's the goofiest.
Yeah, he's the funniest. And I think, we need a little, a little bit of comedy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And he doesn't realize that he's being like that either. Like, that's the funniest part about it, is like he's dead serious.
He is hilarious. I'm gonna need a little drink of water. Yeah, and I love what he wears.
Oh, yeah. I mean, come on.
Those glasses. Did you see the video that I posted of you
I
today?
did.
It was so adorable. I love it. I gotta share that every
She
week.
was like, find some white tape. I said, okay, I'm sure I have it at home.
It was
No
so
white tape.
Oh, you didn't have
That's a piece of paper I wrapped
You are
around and then
lying.
taped.
It's perfect. It looked like tape.
Perfect.
I loved it. So, okay, y'all gotta come check him out in
Yes.
Single Woman Chronicles. He is hilarious. He is funny. You're gonna love it. So, like I said, this show, yes, it has comedy.
Yes.
It has some tear-jerking moments too, drama as usual. So, but I feel like it is a message that we want to get out there. I mean, it's fun. You're gonna have dancing in there. The prologue, the epilogue has fun tunes, and it's an empowerment piece. So you really want to check it out. And it's not just for women, though the themes are mostly like relationships, but it's males in it too, three guys. So you're going to get to kind of see that love triangle type of a deal in it. Fun fashion too. You haven't seen it yet, but we have some fun clothes in that. I love the fashion. So yeah, check us out, swcthestageplay.com. For watching this, you get $10 off. Use code SWC10 at checkout. Don't forget to add on the pink pre-show party before the show. Add on at the checkout. Also, it's gonna be like mocktails, sweet treats, music, dancing, food, like some sweet treats, mocktails, all that kind of fun stuff. Not no burgers though, because when you say food, people think they can. I gotta specify.
Finger foods, people.
Yeah, you gotta specify. But we will have vendors. We'll have food vendors, a shopping experience. We're gonna have a blast. So be there or be nowhere, y'all. Where can they find you? Where can they follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram at Hearne Brandon or on Facebook at Brandon Hearne.
Yeah, that's it, huh?
That's
it. That's all.
That's all.
Follow him. He is an actor. We didn't talk about that. So your background, you have a degree in?
I have a background in acting. I have a degree in acting and directing.
Come on.
Yeah.
And y'all gonna see much more of him. Y'all, we had a blast in the Little Black Dress. We might have to run that back for y'all that didn't see it.
Yeah.
Run it back.
Yeah.
So check us out. As you know, you can follow me at Charbria Shine at Max Out Girl. We hope we said something and encouraged, inspired, and elevated your thinking. And always remember to max out, girl. I'm Charbria Shine. Talk to you next time. Bye, guys.